Welcome to Getting Home Sourced with G. Your one-stop shop for all things real estate. Gianno is your go-to guy with over 25 years of experience in the game, serving up the insider scoop on buying, selling, and investing in two of the hottest markets, Las Vegas, Nevada, and Cabo, Mexico. Whether you're looking to score the perfect home, seal the deal on a sale, or dive into the world of international investments, G's got the tips, tricks, and swagger to make it happen. Remember, in Nevada, the smart choice is the right choice. And when it comes to Cabo, you better go oceanside with Cabo G. If you were looking for a quiet, tranquil show about real estate, this ain't it. Gianno has this thing called passion. Let's unleash the beast. This is Welcome to Getting Home Sourced. And now your host, Gianno.
Hey, what do you say? We got another rockin' show coming at you here this week, but hold on a second, folks. I don't know, because this past week, I got a lot of phone calls and emails saying, what in the world is going on? And are you okay? Is everything all right? And hence, the title of this show is How to Address Feedback. And like I said, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, we got to tackle it, right? So let's jump in because this is an important show for me and I want to really get a lot out. So we're just going to talk here and just have a normal conversation because, again, the show features and focuses around feedback and acceptance. And I think those two things go hand in hand and you're going to see why. So for those that reach out, listen, I've answered every one of your emails and text messages. And if I didn't get to your phone calls, I did at least text back. And of course, there were a lot of you. So that was pretty overwhelming. And I think it's very important to first off say thank you. Because again, as I always say in my show, that wherever you're listening around the world, of course, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Because I always give salutations. I always give thanks and praise. And I always am blessed because I have all of you listening.
Thank you.
And if it wasn't for your participation, and that's why part of this show is based upon you, the listener, of course, the show doesn't exist, right? Because I always say, this is the show. You guys are the engine that drives the Ferrari, which hence is me, to make the show what it is. Strong, powerful, and having meaning and passion.
Thank you.
And so for that, of course, I say thank you. And it's very important to me that you have a lot of people coming out and expressing concerns and expressing interest and expressing opinions and feedback, right? So that's the key word there is feedback. So that's the first thing. Secondly, it shows that all those that are following and the listenership really, really cares about the show and cares about me. And I think that's important in life because we all want to have some type of acceptance, right? And that's where we're going to talk about that as I got into that, earlier just a few minutes ago. But a couple things that I always say to people is that, you can't please everybody. And we all know this, right? But at the same time, I try to please everyone as that's my personality. As everybody knows, I'm very outgoing and try to be witty, try to be funny. And in this case, a little edgy, right? So I'm just going to call it what it is. And I wanted to have some fun, at least try to have fun and do something different because look, at the end of the day, I basically like to be informative. I like to be funny. I like to be engaging and I like to do things different because that's what it is. You shake things up, you do things differently. And it's like gambling. It's like, shooting dice. You just let the chips fall they may and what numbers come out. And if you're a winner, you're a winner. And if not, you're not. But I also like to say that the fan club engaged, which is great because, this week, more so than ever, which I'm excited about. But again, the question is, how do you address feedback? And folks, this is how I address feedback because, again, you're my audience and I always respond in kind with grace and gratitude. I never get upset. I tried not to get angry, right? I mean, we all have emotions. We're all humans,
You
nature,
make me
right?
so mad.
But at the end of the day, it's always with grace and gratitude. And that's the first thing. And I did not realize that a show that I paid homage and love for people that support me and my show and my mission got taken out of context. So, I mean, that's kind of what I get out of it because of the feedback, right? So, and I like to address that. And again, one thing about me with feedback, people who care are people who tell you like it is, right? And that's what I do. I tell it like it is. There's transparency, straight in your face, the way it should be. And the one thing that I always try to do, and I always try to promise the people listening, is that I always hear what you have to say. And I have to say that this is the most important thing out of everything, because if I don't hear what you have to say and I don't respond to what you have to say, then what the heck kind of show am I doing, right? And that's the whole thing. So in this instance, here we are. We have an early release of the show, and at the end of the day, we move on because I want to make sure that, again, it's about the feedback. It's addressing feedback, how I take in what everybody has expressed and said to me, and moving forward with my audience. And it's important
Talk
for
it like
me
you walk it, man.
to say thank you for caring and sharing. I mean, really, that's what it's all about, because, folks, if you didn't care, you don't share. And if you don't share, then how are we supposed to know how we're doing, in what direction that we're going? And that's why I'm not mad, I'm not upset, I'm not happy, but at the end of the day, I understand what took place. I understand that people do care and how they expressed it in different ways, because how many times you have a person that maybe may not show feeling or show emotion, but they care and they love you and what have you, but there's a just different way of showing it, right? And so the communication and the understanding of someone and how we think and how we act and how we feel, to understand everybody, that's an art form in itself, folks. I mean, I like to know how my clients feel 100%, whether they're sellers or buyers, investors, but also my audience. I mean, of course, I want to know how you feel. And it's an art form, because I'm not going to please everybody. And obviously, that was the case last week's show. So, with that being said, that's why it's important for me to give the feedback, understand it, accept it, embrace it, and asking for your acceptance, because at the end of the day, this is what it's all about, because I need the acceptance and I need the feedback from you in order to move forward with a good show or a great show. And it's important because, like I said, if I don't listen to what people have to say, a lot of people like to talk. Of course, this is a show where I like to talk, right? But it's important to listen, because listening is the most important thing. And without listening, you're completely lost. So on that note, I want to take a quick commercial break because I got a lot to say in the back end. I'll be right back.
Have you been waiting for your oasis in the desert but don't know where to start? Looking for that second home or relocation home to escape and oversee those majestic mountains with beautiful palm trees blowing in the wind? Then Vegas G is here for you with keys in hand to make sure your luxury getaway is your place to stay. Contact Gianno today at 888-528-2810, and remember, your Las Vegas getaway is just a phone call away. Make the call now and come see for yourself what Vegas has to offer you.
Hey, what do you say? What do you say? Thank you again I think this is going to be another rockin' show. Why? Because we're talking from the heart. We're jumping right in. I'm responding and reacting to everybody's concerns, questions, emails, text messages, calls, the whole 9 yards, because I just got overwhelmed. And you know what? I love you guys. And that's all I'm going to say. I love you guys. I love each and every one of you. I loved everything that everybody had to say. And that's why we're doing this show a little bit earlier, because why? I listen to the people. And this is a great example about addressing feedback. And as a realtor, I have to take the criticism. I have to take feedback. Again, good, bad, ugly, what have you, because you have to embrace what people have to say, because as a realtor, just like this show, I'm of service. I'm of service to you. I'm here for you in all capacity. So when I get feedback, verbal communication, written communication, oral communication, whatever the communication might be, folks, I respond to it, because I want to be standing front and center and take accountability and take responsibility, because that's who I am. And for those that don't know, guess what? Now you know, right? So now addressing this instance, now let's just say as an example, as a realtor and I'm a listing agent, it's important for feedback because I want to tie this into like a real estate transaction because I think it'll make sense when you hear what I have to say. So as a realtor, I'm a listing agent, and it's important to get feedback because every time I take a listing, and with most realtors around the country and pretty much in the world, you're always going to want feedback. Hey, how'd the showing go? What did your clients think? What did you think? On a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the best, 1 being the worst, how did it go? Give me feedback. Let me know. Communication. Engage with me. Tell me how the showing went. How could the listing be better to show it? If you didn't like it, I'm getting your opinion, whether it's factual or just opinionated, to make the listing a better listing, to also help out my client, the seller, to be the best realtor I can be, to do what's better for who? The client, right? Because at the end of the day, I want that buyer's agent to sell the home, and I want my seller to be happy because that's my job, is to make everybody happy. Hence, here I go with the show, trying to make everybody happy. And unfortunately, we're not going to make everybody happy. Whether you try to go outside the box or you're inside the box, I get it. But you know what? I'm who I am. I'm a risk taker when it comes on the show. I told you it's edgy, it's street talk, it's real talk, it's transparency. And we're going to have fun doing things. And if people don't find it to be fun or engaging, I get it. But you know what? That doesn't mean that you have to run away. I want you to come back the next week because you know what? There might be a show in the future or in the past that you haven't listened to that will make it engaging for you, and realize, hey, look, just like everything else, you have to give people a chance because in most instances, it's like a real estate agent or a real estate transaction. You have to make sure that you have accountability, you have passion, you have responsibility, not only to yourself, but to your clients, or on the other side, whether they be investors or sellers or buyers and renters, whoever the case might be, because at the end of the day, it's important to listen, taking in the feedback, right? Positive remarks, negative remarks, whatever. And for me, I use that to gain strength, and I use that to fuel my determination, because the three L's that I look at is to listen, to learn, and to level up, because that's the only way you're going to grow as an individual and as a show if you're not open-minded and taking in what? The feedback and the acceptance of what people are trying to do. Because really, when somebody gives you feedback, again, criticism, positivity, negativity, whatever, it's because they care. And if that person didn't care, they're not going to say anything. They're just going to just go off into oblivion, and that's the way it is. But because of the fact that I'm a passionate person, maybe that's rubbed off a little bit on you guys, because like I say, all the world's a stage, right? And you have to find what role you play the best and what's the best part that you can play. So I know it's a little cliche, but at the end of the day, it makes sense, right? Because again, for me, I think that I rubbed off a little bit on all of you that are listening. More importantly, the ones that have reached out and were very, very passionate, I might add. And that's great. And because of that, I love you guys, because we are La Familia, family, right? So if I'm your little brother and you're going to go after your little brother, hey, I'm okay with that, because you know why? It shows you that you care, you're looking out, you're protecting, you're watching over. And that's the biggest thing of all that means the world, right? So, and again, just to give you another analogy, because it just popped into my head. So think about being in a restaurant, right? You go to a restaurant and you're ordering food, you're with your significant other or family members or what have you, and you don't like the food, but you don't want to cause a scene, and everybody's like, no, don't say anything and keep quiet. But the server comes over, hey, how's everything? Oh, everything's great, when it's really not. And then the manager comes over, hey, how's everything? Well, the wifey or the hubby or the kids, this didn't really come out that great, whatever. Well, what's the matter? It's okay. They basically, half the plate's finished, but, you just wanted to at least say something to get their attention, but you're not fully going through and letting the manager know what really is wrong with the meal. And so sometimes people walk out of a restaurant and the manager really can't do anything, because why? Because they didn't get the full scoop. They didn't really get the full detailed story of just saying, okay, something was wrong, but I just want to let you know, but I don't really want to get into it because I don't want to cause a scene. And that's not good on the other side. It's not good for you walking away because now you have a bad experience. You're probably not going to want to go back into that restaurant again. And the manager's like kind of shocked because like, well, what do I do to make it better? I mean, I want to make it better and at least tell the kitchen staff, hey, what happened? Where do we mess up? Where do we go wrong? How do we fix it? Right? That's the always time in a restaurant, especially when it comes to food. How do we fix it? How do we make it right? How are we going to come back again and give us another chance? And because in restaurant, there's a lot of fine line. I mean, a lot of people, if they have a negative thought in their head, it's over. I mean, they're not going to come back. It doesn't matter how much, the ambiance is great and how much the bill is and whatever, but it's the one thing at the end. If they don't like it, they don't like it. And so what happens here in real estate, that's what I'm saying. Real estate is life, right? So it's human reactions, it's feelings, it's sometimes being misunderstood. And people take this personally, like their houses, their beliefs, their looks, their choices. And, at the end of the day, that makes up the majority of people. But again, it goes back to the same old story. How do you react and how do you address feedback, right? And that's what I'm saying is that I can't sit back and not have the experience that I experienced this last couple of days to not come on the air, to not be transparent, to basically come out and say, hey, I heard you. I get it. It was very unsettling. I couldn't believe it because I felt like I let my listenership down, my fans down, people that really care that have been with me for a long time, way before I even did my show, when I was even doing my commercials and cartoons back then. So for those that haven't checked those out, here's a plug like I always do. You go to my website, VegasHomeSource.com. Go on. You can check out my newsletter. You can also see my cartoons and how I've had it there for the last 5+ years. I mean, it's funny. Some people loved it. Some people didn't. But you know what? You have to have a voice. You have to have an opinion. You have to be stand up and you have to just basically say, look, this is who I am. I'm accountable for my actions. And we want to make sure that everybody enjoys a good show or a good laugh. And at that time frame, getting the information and just coming across a different way that sometimes a lot of people may think that, okay, I get it, but I don't get it, right? So here we are moving forward, right? Such is life. We grow, we evolve, and we try to become better. And because, like I said, at the end of the day, that's what I want to do. I mean, I want to be heard. I want to be a people person. I want to get it out to the masses. I want to get out my voice, and I want to express how I think, act, feel, because at least you get a different chance of you knowing the kind of person that you're listening to. Now you have a side of, hey, this guy's pretty funny. He tries different things. He puts himself out there, and that's all you can do. A lot of people are introverted and they stay, inside their box. Folks, that's certainly not me. And right. So that's why I talk about acceptance, because acceptance in life, again, let alone in real estate, to me, is the most important thing over anything else. And why is that? Because without acceptance of you, the listener or the buyer or the seller, myself as a realtor, I don't exist. I mean, this show doesn't happen. Why? Because you're not accepting of me. And that's what I look for. And so, of course, you have trust and honesty and transparency, but don't kid yourself, folks. Acceptance goes above all of that, because this is what I seek with all of you, because it's important for everybody to understand. Look, in a short period of time where this show's gone, we've climbed the mountaintop together. And my goal is to climb every mountain that we can see and we can find. For what purpose? Because of the feedback, asking to go higher, asking to push the envelope, the acceptance of knowing that I'm going to take you there on a wing or a prayer, however it works. We're going to get there, and you're going to love it because you've been here now for so long that why stop now? Because it's about the journey, having fun every week. You get to listen to a show. You get to listen to somebody that at least can be informative, witty, funny, humorous, but yet you have a takeaway. There's a takeaway of a show like every week. It's thought process. It's thought provoking. And of course, a lot of thoughts last week, right? So that's the whole thing because, again, in a short period of time, like I said, we've done a lot of great things together and we're going to continue to do a lot of great things. At least I know we will. But in the end, like I always like to say, as an old Star Trek, folks, I'm a big Star Trek junkie. So for all those out there, love sci-fi, big sci-fi fan. And who remembers this quote? The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one, right? So on that note, I hope that this brings out, anything, brings to light any demise that people may think that I'm having. People think that I'm suffering. Listen, folks, I'm okay. Okay, everything's great. So no worries there. But the cool thing is that getting home source is about me giving everyone the scoop on real estate. But in turn, I got feedback sourced. And I have to say, that was pretty cool and awesome, folks. I was really overwhelmed by that. I'm not going to lie. I can't even get into it. That's a whole other hour show of the response. It gets me a little bit choked up, I have to say. So, but I want to say to everybody, let's have a great week. I love you all. Thank you for listening. Thank you for believing and having passion for me. And you're showing it, right? And also for the show. So you're having passion for me, having passion for the show. And I like to think of you as my older siblings. I'm your little brother, right? And I heard you, and it's having my back and accepting me every week, good, bad, or ugly. You're loving me, you're caring for me. And for this, I'm truly blessed. And for that, I give my love back out to you. And I want everybody to have a great week. It's exciting times coming ahead. I got a lot of other things to share and a lot of other things to talk about. But I did want to make this very personal. And I did want to take a time out to just focus on the show, focus on what we're doing, where we're going, how we're doing it. And again, I want the feedback. I want the positivity. I want the negativity. I want whatever you're going to give me. I'm a big boy. And that's why I'm here. And I'm going to love every single one of you. Nothing's going to change because everything, again, it's about the show. And the show succeeds with people like you spreading the word and telling other people, hey, you know what? This guy's a good dude. And there's going to be shows that you don't like or you like or what have you. But overall, there's a message, right? And this is the message. So I give you a message. You give me a message. Everything's received on both sides. And again, I love you guys and thank you guys, and just hang in there because we're just going to get higher. Just like that song, Ain't No Mountain High Enough, because we're going higher and higher. And on that note, love you all. Take care and talk to you soon.
You have just listened to Getting Home Sourced with your radio host, Gianno Buonaguro. This podcast is a registered trademark and may not be reproduced without the express written consent of VegasHomeSource.com. For additional information about buying, selling, or investing in real estate, call or text Gianno toll-free at 888-528-2810 or visit his website at VegasHomeSource.com. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.